the Islamic Center of San Diego tonight have strong opinions about the incident. NBC7's Brandy Powell is here with their reaction. Brandy.
Artie, many were upset. Some were actually not surprised at all. In fact, without mincing words, some locals, only comfortable speaking with me off camera, told me they, quote, fully expect something like this will happen again.
Absolutely devastating. My heart literally bleeds. So now you have such acts solidify the American forces as oppressors, as occupiers, as eventually the terrorists.
Strong language from Hanif Mohebi, the executive director of San Diego's Council on American Islamic Relations. He and others at the Islamic Center of San Diego tell me when a U.S. soldier kills Afghan civilians, it hurts many more than just those who knew the 16 people who lost their lives.
Right now, the family of a man brutally beaten and tased to death by Border Patrol is marking the second anniversary of his death. And for the first time, faith-based leaders are stepping up the support of the family of Anastasio Rojas Hernandez.
We believe that those folks who, under the color of law, torture a man to death have to face justice.
Now, 2 years after Anastasio's death, Muslim and other religious leaders are joining their fight to demand justice from the federal government. Members of the Southern Border Communities Coalition and religious leaders stood outside of the federal building to send a strong message.
What happened to Anastasio is a crime.
I do have members of the community who cross the border on a daily basis. They live in Tijuana. They come here for school and for work. As I'm concerned about them, I'm concerned about every single human being.
It is a community perhaps 1 million strong in California, but one that often feels marginalized, the victims of bias based on headlines and world events. Now, as KTVU's Ken Pritchett reports, California Muslims are making sure their voices are heard at the state capitol.
It is a group photo never snapped before. On the west steps of the Capitol, Muslim men and women from all over California smiling for the cameras.
It's the first Muslim day at the Capitol in California. We are voters, we are donors, we are civically engaged, and we want to make our voices heard.
About 36 members of CAIR walked the halls of the Capitol to lobby lawmakers on immigration issues and on a new bill that clarifies rules on religious attire in the workplace.
A lot of times workers will ask for the right to wear a headscarf or a turban or grow a beard, and employers won't know how to balance the rights of the worker versus their own legal responsibility.
One issue with lobbying lawmakers is who to talk to. There is a legislative black caucus, there is an Asian caucus, but there is no Muslim caucus. In fact, there are no Muslim California state legislators and very few nationwide. And this first Muslim day at the Capitol may be the start of something bigger. In Sacramento, Ken Pritchett, KTVU Channel 2 News.
A San Diego native prohibited from flying home because his name appeared on a no-fly list.
Arania was born in San Diego, and he happens to be Muslim.
Kevin Araniha could not believe it when airline personnel told him and his father they could not board their flight home from Costa Rica.
A local Muslim American stranded overseas after being placed on the no-fly list.
20-year-old San Diegan Ali Ahmed was trying to fly to Kenya last week to meet his father and fiance for an arranged marriage, but was diverted instead to Bahrain.
Kevin will be fighting after he gets home and gets some rest. He and his counsel have already filed papers in federal court to get answers and to restore his right.
A spokesperson for the Council on American Islamic Relations says there's no reason Arania should have been placed on the no-fly list.
Kevin made it across the border a little after 7 last night. He wants to get to the bottom of why he was put on the no-fly list, and the local chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations
Last week, the local chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations said that his placement on the no-fly list was a violation of his civil rights. Members of the civil rights group will be at the gate to welcome Ali Ahmed home.
Ahmed is a U.S. citizen who has lived here since 1999. He says he's happy to be home.
On a no-fly list, Earlier this year, the Council on American Islamic Relations, also known as CAIR, called on the Department of Justice to investigate the treatment of Muslim citizens by the FBI.
On American Islamic Relations, known as CAIR.
Council on American Islamic Relations.
Council on American Islamic Relations.
Council on American Islamic Relations.
The Council on American Islamic Relations.
Council on American Islamic Relations.
For the Council on American Islamic Relations in San Diego.